Welcome, Chosen One.
Hey guys, welcome to the Ace of Plays channel. In today's video I want to show off 4 games, that's right, 4 games that I played with Francesca Dwarves. I went 6-0 with this deck today, ranked up to rank 4, feels good. And I had a lot of spicy games, a lot of games that really bewildered me, if you can say that. As you may notice, the gameplay is sped up just a little bit. It's sped up to 120%. I'm going to try to do this for these videos, if that's okay with you guys. So just let me know in the comments, is this a good speed? Would you like to be faster? I apologize for there not being any sound on the gameplay. Even though I told Bandicam to not record my microphone, it still did. So I'll have to remember to mute my mic next time. But when I play by myself, I whisper a lot. Like, oh, that's pretty good. Oh, Great Oak would be awesome in this deck. Oh, Geralt is dead. Stuff like that. I was whispering throughout this video. So the gameplay is unfortunately muted. It shouldn't be a problem in the future. But yeah, let me know what you think about the slightly sped up. Do you want it to be faster? Is this okay? I wouldn't imagine anybody thinks this is too fast. But anyway. Why don't we start talking about the actual gameplay? So this first game was against Henselt. Henselt is, I don't know, I played against a few amount of Henselts since the patch, but he's definitely not the most popular leader. Those would be Meve and Full Test. Haven't seen any Dem Event, although Dem Event seems cool now, and he was always cool. But yeah, I take this pass just because he's setting up his commandos, and I know that he's going to want to do this. As you can see, he is doing this. Like, there's nothing I could have done to prevent this. Because it was boosted up to 5. If it had been boosted to 4, I could have actually used Land of 1,000 Fables to get, what's it called? Northern Wind, to actually banish that first commando. But there was nothing I can do about it, so I decided, okay, he's going to spend a couple of turns on this. If I pass now, I guarantee a dry pass, which gives me the long round that I want with my dwarves. And as you can see, I get it exactly like I want it. So we just get to play a fairly cheap Dwarven Agitator. I believe I also played the Skirmisher. No, wait, no I don't. Or do I? Really? Alright, well, this was my first game with this. Later on, I think I started going away from that tactic. In the past, like, that was really good because you weren't guaranteed to get a target for it. But now it's really good. Like, it's 3 damage to whatever you want. And with all the pings from the mercenaries, it's really good. So in future games, the ones after this, I think I save my mercenaries, my skirmishers a little bit more because, holy shit, they're actually really good now. They're good removal. And yeah, we got the pass we wanted, and against Henselt, like, I'm expecting greed, right? Like, Blue Stripes Commandos, probably a Draug. So I'm expecting a lot of greed from this boy, so I'm just stacking up my engines, not worrying too much about removal. Like, there's not much I think Henselt can do about this. So yeah, I just set up my mercenaries right away. And yeah, he gets to play down Trebuchet, he gets a ping. Look at all of our pings. Yeah. So when you have 4 mercenaries, which happens a lot with this deck, think a lot about which mercenaries charges you're using. Like in this case, I used the one that was damaged because it was the most likely to die. But if they're all like the same power, like the same likelihood of surviving, I like to just, you know, start with the ones that have the most charges. Like if you have a couple of mercenaries with 3 charges and then a couple with 2, you know, use one of each from the 3s and then, you know, start going down from there, just so you lose as little as possible every time in case they get removed. But yeah, now comes the funny part of this. So he has Pavetted in his Blue Stripes and he plays Sabrina. That's a -1 tempo play, and we're so far ahead, so I'm thinking, you know what, why don't I make my own -1 tempo play? And yeah, Call of the Forest. If we had humans in the deck, that would have been like one of the sickest plays ever. But we don't, because this is a dwarf deck. And humans lost after our ladyfolk. But yeah, we got a pretty quick forfeit. We were so far ahead, and like we could definitely afford to make that play. And it was just awesome. Now this next one is against Guernica. Guernica is one of the 2 leaders I wanted to play today, but I decided to go with Francesca first, and it was just such a blast. So no Gurney today. But this is a funny one. Like, you're gonna see some strange shit in this Guernica match. So of course the deck list has appeared on the screen and will continue to appear on screen during the mulligans. If you watched my previous Dwarves video, this is pretty much the same deck, except, you know, a lot of the cards got a little bit buffed, provision-wise, some of them, and then we've been able to fit in some new cards. Now, I don't know if this is the optimal version. Our opponent misplays his Wyvern. That does not go in the melee row anymore, my boy. But yeah, I don't know if this is the best version. Like, it runs 1,000 Fables, which I don't see in any other Dwarves deck. It's just, like, we rely so much on Novigrad Injustice that it's such a shame to not get it. And 1,000 Fables got buffed. It's 1 provision cheaper, so why not? I do really want to play Great Oak in this, but it's such an expensive card, and we'd have to take out something pretty big to afford it. And honestly, I like the deck the way it is now. So if you have any ideas, like any suggestions on how to get Great Oak in here, like maybe take out Geralt. Like, he got nerfed. He's been getting me good value today, but I think potentially he could turn out to be a fairly bad card in the future if people start getting less greedy. I mean, of course, now, like, there's so much greed going on. Like, Geralt is such a good card now, despite his nerf. But yeah, Call of the Forest really coming to good use. In this deck, like, there's not a lot of cards that are too much, you know, to invest in round 1. As long as you get to keep Novigrad Injustice for round 3, you're so good. You are so good. Like anything else, you're pretty safe to play, and that's just such a good feeling. And also with Novigrad Injustice, we have multiple ways to play it. Like, we can go for the short round with Cleaver's Muscle. We can go for the long round, Engine Greedy plays. We can of course mix the 2, because we play it twice. So of course in a matchup like this, like Guernica, like this round is going to go deep. If I don't win round 1, then round 2 is going to go deep. So I'm just doing my thing. Getting ready to invest quite a lot. As you can see, we're pretty far ahead in points. I don't remember when this guy passes. I don't know if it's going to be now or later. I think he plays a little bit deeper. Parasites. That's a pretty good Parasite. Good value. Denying me my carryover. Now, there's always, like, if you have Justice in hand in round 1, like, there's always that dilemma. Should I play it now and just have 1 for later? But right now, I just wanted to make sure I had Dwarves on the board so that my Zoltan Chevet wasn't completely dead if this round ended up being a little bit longer. It ended up forcing a pass out of him, which I'm not sure that was worth it. Like getting the pass was great, but losing a Justice, overcommitting in round 1 with Novigrad Injustice, that hurts. Like, that hurts the whole strategy. But you know, we go into a fairly long round. We still have 1 Justice, which is already a really good card. And I'm getting a lot of sexy dwarves with long, nice beards, and yeah, it feels great. Maybe I should be a dwarf. I'm really tall though, so I couldn't really be a dwarf. I'm like 189 meters, 1.89 meters, which I think is like 6'2", 6'3" if you're American and you use those metrics. I'm not sure. I think it's like 6'2.5", something like that. I have checked it out, but I don't really care about your system. But yeah, Dwarven Mercenaries against Guernica. Normally, don't really expect removal. Turns out this Guernica is actually quite the removal deck. And I think now, yeah, that's the funny thing. Guernica scorched my Dwarven Mercenaries. Just think about that, okay? Think back. I mean, go back in the video if you have to. What just happened? Guernica scorched my 2 Dwarven Mercenaries. I don't know what to say. But look, we're pretty free to go greedy here, so Polly Dahlberg. Probably Polly Dahlberg's main usage is to boost up the Mahakam Defender. Some dwarf decks run 2 copies of this. I don't like that, because we have very few ways to actually boost. Like, you can use Dennis Cranmer, you can use Barclay Ellis, you can use Polly Dahlberg, you can use Dwarven Agitator. Like, we have ways to boost it, and so having one feels perfectly fine to me. Like, I never have issues boosting this one. And with Dennis Cranmer, like, it's even a valid Novigrad Injustice target, because you can put 2 of them on the melee row and then play Dennis Cranmer as, an 8-point play, boosting both of them up. So that's pretty decent, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I think, like, against Nilfgaard, there were no matches against Nilfgaard here, sadly, but against Nilfgaard, because of Ox, I never play down 4 Mahakam Mercenaries, so I prefer to go for 2 Mercenaries, 2 Muscle, or 2 Mercenaries and 2 Defenders on the melee row. Actually, you can put all this on the ranged row, and then you can Polly Dahlberg for 8 points still, potentially more, and just boost them all up. But yeah, we take the win. Pretty good going. This deck has a lot of power. Novigrad Injustice gives us so insanely much power, and that's why I run 1000 Fables, because if we don't draw Justice, like, a lot of these dwarfs are still pretty solid, but Justice just makes this deck so strong. I mean, Justice, brothers, Justice for the dwarves. I think that's what I named my my first dwarf video. So now it's Woodland, which is, like, again, kind of big monsters. This is more big monsters than the last one. The last one was Control Gurney, I guess. I don't think Guernica should play Control. I mean, I guess you could, but, like, with those low provisions, putting in Scorch, it's so weird. It's so strange. So here, we don't have Shelton Skags in hand, so I boosted the Mahakam Defender against big monsters Point Slam. This boy should be pretty solid. Also challenging their dominance. Killing the Drowner, because it's going to be worth more than the whole, if it survives, boost off by 1 thing. Like, killing the Drowner is better. And, yeah, like, Dwarven Skirmisher, like, if you don't get the boost on it, it's just an even better target for Call of the Forest. So I never really mind using it that way. So here I kind of wish I placed Polly Dahlberg between the Defender and the other boy, because then I would have been able to boost it back up. Of course, I didn't really predict that play, although I should. Imler's Wrath is a really strong card. I think most big monsters decks play it because it's really good. Like it's excellent removal, and it's just, I mean, it's the type of removal that can also just translate into a lot of points. It's like point slam removal. And yeah, look at this. Mahakam Guard, 4 provisions, 9 points. That card is so good at 4 provisions. Holy shit. Yeah, like this boy is really challenging us with his points, going really hard. But we are able to keep up. Not afraid to go a card down against Woodland. Like that last say and that ability to dry pass for at least a 6-card round is really good. So as long as we can take this a card down, like I'm pushing this. Zoltan Chivet, we have a lot of dwarves. So I think he goes for 8. No, 7. 7, yeah. That's big. That is big. And he just fully commits. I mean, check this out. Check this out. We get his leader. Come on. That's his leader. His Woodland. And now, we could catch up. Like, Justice into Francesca double Justice would let us win on even. But, like, that's such a big commitment for us. And we have cards that rely on us having Justice to really be good. So, I do give him the win. But I kind of regret it, you know? Like, this hand is not very good. And yeah, our boy is just... He's just pushing. He's just pushing hard. Because he has Spirit Tip. Why wouldn't he push? So at this point, like, I realized that, okay, we're gonna have to play Justice. And, okay, I go for the Skirmishers. I was thinking about another game that I played where I should have gone for Skirmishers, but I went for Muscle. But Skirmishers is more points because I'm not able to take it this turn anyway. So I'm going to have to play another Dwarf, in which case the Skirmishers will be worth... not the Skirmishers, but the Mercenaries will be worth 6 points each, as opposed to 5. So here I see that I can take it with... I can either go... Yeah, I can either go on even cards but keep my leader, or I could, you know, use my leader. There's definitely an argument to use the leader because that would have given us last say, and we did draw Geralt, which is huge. So there is for sure an argument for that. But you know, keep in mind, our leader is pretty big, and he doesn't have Woodland, so unless he drew Osrol, like, we're not even guaranteed to get a Geralt target. Oh, actually, this is the game where I think about going for Mercenaries. First, I decide not to, but I should have. Because they would have been worth 6 points each after I dropped the Sheldon. So I messed up there. And of course, Geralt turns out to be dead. Which is quite a shame. But we get the win anyway. That, you know, that might have been kind of lucky. I'm assuming his last card wasn't good, because if that card was Osrol at 13 points last say, I don't think he would have passed there. So he must have drawn poorly. So we are lucky. I probably should have spent my leader to finish off round 2 a card up, just to have last say. Like, we run Geralt for a reason, and, you know, playing like that, just playing completely, I guess, playing around our own cards, which kind of sucks. And not in the fun way. Like when you're playing Assimilate and your opponent has to play around their own cards because suddenly you might have them. That's funny. Like, this is just stupid. So, I'm sorry. But yeah, now we are against Eithne. This is going to be the last game of the video. This is a pretty intense one. You'll see. You'll see. So yeah, for the time being, they're on the dwarf plan as well. They're running the classic hand buff package. Something we could do as well. Really, we're only lacking... what you called? I think she comes down now. No. She comes down next turn? What is she called? Eithne? Is that the one that boosts something by 4? I'm not sure. I don't play enough Scoia'tael. But we could run that. The carrier, of course, is strong. The synergy with Sheldon Skaggs, strong. All in all, strong. But again, it's a pretty expensive card. I think it costs like 11, right? Like, I definitely think it's worth the cost, but it's expensive, and Francesca doesn't have a lot of provisions. But I'd say in any dwarf deck that's not Francesca, which I don't know if those really exist, but in any dwarf deck that isn't Francesca, sure, play Eithne. I probably would. So his spores are our defender, which, you know, really makes you think. Eithne playing spores. I mean, spores is a fairly decent card right now in the current meta with all the boosting and greed that's going around. But Eithne playing spores. You know, so that tells us she's playing some fairly expensive cards in this deck. And oh boy, she does. She does. Again, you'll see. So she also plays Novigrad Injustice, so this is a fairly dwarfy deck. I mean, Novigrad Injustice is such a fantastic card. One of my favorite cards in the entire game. I really love that it's a dual faction card, because I don't really want to play Syndicate to play it. I prefer playing dwarves in Scoia'tael. So he plays his Sheldon. That's a massive play, but we get a lot of stuff out of him. A lot of carryover. See, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all of his boosts. All his hand boosts out the window. For some reason, considering actually keeping on. Like, I'm counting my points. Like, at most, like, I could do 20 points in 2 turns. Which is not enough. And if I can't take a card down, I'm not going to take it. So we draw some cards. Geralt, I'm not expecting to get a lot of value here. Like, she doesn't play... Like, Eithne doesn't play a lot of big units. And, like, if it is Eithne Scorch, then I definitely don't expect some big units. It's not like Guernica, which should be playing big units, but is playing Scorch instead. So we get a pass, which is great. I'm playing... I think I play the muscle here, yeah. Because we want to go for the pew pew plan, as I like to call it. Okay, this final round, guys. I gotta warn you. You're gonna see some shit in this final round. You're gonna see some absolute shit happen to you, boy. Stuff I'm assuming a lot of you thought you would never see. I never expected to see this. But whew. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But yeah, we're just going full on Novigrad Injustice, Dwarven Mercenaries. I'm gonna end up regretting this row stacking, but I do have that Mahakam guard in my hand, so you want to row stack. One of the weaknesses of this deck for sure. I played Gobro first because I'm playing around Scorch, because I've already gotten scorched by Guernica, so I'm definitely expecting to get scorched by Eithne. And it's immune, so she can't ping it down to line up the Scorch. So I'm feeling pretty good. So here you see, like, I'm using the ones with 3 charges first, just so I lose as little as possible in case of removal. And I'm feeling pretty good right now. Because her 4 pings can't really take out 4 mercenaries. And I'm just stacking up on dwarfs, feeling great. Playing out another card that could potentially block a Scorch. But of course, like, Gabor is doing the job. Gabor. But, yeah. Eithne. A lot of people are saying Eithne's back. With all the greed and all the road dependency that's going on right now, Eithne's back. And like that Eithne wasn't too bad. Like he killed Gabor. It's not so bad, is it? We're still pretty far ahead, like really far ahead. And with all these pings going, we're pretty far ahead. And I kill the Eithne, assuming that it's out of the picture. Guys, if you're playing against Eithne nowadays, don't kill Eithne. Don't kill Eithne. Oh. So yeah, my poor mercenaries today, they were scorched by Guernica, and they were renewed Eithne'd by Eithne. Today's not a good day to be a mercenary. For the dwarves, at least. I mean, maybe some other race. Maybe it's a racial thing, like some racism is going on. I'm gonna have to take this up with the CEO of Racism, which is a dumb meme format, but I love it. I can't get over that Eithne. Like, the first one was fine. Like, Eithne my Gabor. I row stacked. I deserved it. I had a big unit. Sure. That second one. And I have 2 ways to kill this brand. Back to the gameplay. I'm going with Zoltan because, like, Northern Wind will always be 4 points. Zoltan would potentially be bricked at 2 after this. I'm just looking at that Eithne, knowing what he did. I'm so mad. But we are doing pretty well. Royal Decree. Into Malayan, that's a big play. Definitely a big play. Doesn't hurt us too much. We're going to banish it. Feels good. And yeah, our opponent would need a good bit of points to catch up. Great Oak would have done it because of the boost from whatever she's called. Why can't I remember that? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching these games with me. These were 4 of the 6 games that I played. The 4 best ones. The other ones were pretty good too, but these were the best ones. I wanted to keep it short for you guys. Short. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and consider subscribing for more content like this. Let me know what you think about this format. You know, post commentary, slightly sped up. There should be gameplay sound next time. Like, that's not a part of it, but yeah, let me know what you think. And yeah, until next time, have a good one, and I'll see you guys soon.